Hey, what's up, everyone? This is David Greenspan, and you are listening to the Mindshare Podcast, a proud member of the Industry Syndicate Media Network. Additional podcasts are available at industrysyndicate.com and mindshare101.com. This week's episode is sponsored by Kit's Keep in Touch Systems. This is episode 28. So, before anything else, he is a husband and a father. He is also the creator of the I Love Madison show and I Love Madison home team. And beyond his role as team leader, he is the host of the nationally recognized and nationally ranked podcast, Agent Rise, and the founder of the coaching company, Neil Mathweg Coaching. It is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Neil Mathweg to the Mindshare Podcast. Neil, thank you for being here with us today.
That was the most amazing intro ever. Like, I want to record that and play that like as I'm walking into an arena, man. That was amazing. I love it.
I love it. But now, do you do a lot of walking into arenas and a lot of entrances like that? Or was it?
Like, if I get that opportunity, I've got that recording in my back pocket, and that's the one I want to play.
Hey, listen, man, if you've got all that backroom VIP stuff, I will gladly come and do it live for you.
There you go.
So listen, you and I, we had actually connected through the industry syndicate when the whole thing was originally put together. And from there, naturally, I started to get to know everybody within the group, as well as start to listen to your podcasts. And through that, I realize that you and I have a very similar thought line as the way people build their real estate business and essentially how they survive for the long haul. And, fast forward from there, we spoke on the phone and like my thoughts totally didn't sway. We were very much in line and we sort of talked about like doing something like this. So then go from there, fast forward past that, the Agent Rise Webathon to raise awareness for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, which, as we know, are in place to help fight blood cancer. That happened. You put that on. And I seriously, I want to thank you once again for having me, including me as a part of that, inviting me to be part of that. As I mentioned, my best friend is battling leukemia for the past 2 years now. It actually sucks. So I thought that this would be a good jumping off spot today. And I actually want to ask you a little bit more about that. I mean, never a bad topic to bring more awareness to. Can you tell everyone what was that about? What, like if they missed it, if they weren't there, what did they miss? And why did you put all that together?
Yeah, so I was a part of a campaign to raise $100,000 here in Madison, and it's the Man and Women of the Year competition where the Leukemia Lymphoma Society raises awareness through separate campaigns. So there's 11 different campaigns. I was managing one of them, and of course, throughout the years of building this community of like-minded real estate agents, we have this amazing group and we have this amazing tribe of agents that are doing things different. And so I thought, what's a way that we could reach that audience with valuable content? And I sent out, it was 9 messages to other influencers, speakers, authors. I sent out 9 messages. All 9 replied with "I'm in," and which I was just blown away. I was looking for 5. So my odds, I was thinking if I send it to 9, I'll get 5. But I got all 9 in. We filled up a 4-hour Facebook Live, which is the maximum you can do, and we had a really tight shift of 9 speakers present in that 4 hours. One after another. The webathon itself raised $4,500, and as a campaign, we raised $25,000. And as a there's the
selfies. Keep going. No, I'm taking it in.
And as a whole in Madison, Wisconsin, we raised $320,000, which the previous record was $191. So we crushed the record, and it was amazing. It was really amazing. And, my why for doing it was why not? So my family hasn't been affected thankfully, and I don't know anybody that's been affected until I started this campaign. And then every week I would meet, 3 to 5 people a week that were affected by this. And then just hearing the things that Leukemia Lymphoma Society does for patients, for families of patients, and it's just an amazing journey, amazing 10-week campaign, and I know our realty community did some amazing things. So it was really cool.
You know what, man? I mean, for the amount of money that you had raised, and I don't know that I knew even the exact total amount until just now, and I think that is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, this is a massive, massive problem out there. I mean, we know up here in Canada, the Canadian Blood Services is always calling, always doing the campaigns. You hear it on the radio, and I mean, like, you think about it, blood is what it takes for us to survive. And when people have problems with their blood, it is a massive thing for all of us who are, hey, let's just put it very bluntly, not going through those same problems. Hey, it's up to us to be able to help. And we've got so much, it's in you to help is their tagline here. And I mean, again, being affected now personally by it, with literally my best friend in the world going through it and battling it, and it's changed everything, it's a tough one. So, I mean, anyways, I think it was an awesome thing that you brought awareness to. I'm not surprised that everybody responded to you on it. I know I was incredibly excited the minute you reached out about it. Again, these are the big ones, so good on you, man. And that's great. And on that note too, just listen to what you just said as well. I actually love hearing the fact that you don't have anybody that you're directly fighting for. Not to say you're indirectly, because we see how many people you've been able to help, which is excellent. It's nice to know that there's not somebody there that's suffering.
Right.
So anyhow, let's go into some real estate talk. I wanted to bring that up. That was a very cool one, but let's get into some real estate talk here. We're both working with realtors on a regular day-to-day basis, coaching realtors, talking to realtors, listening to their struggles, listening to their wins, helping them figure out, which way is up. And trying to just, I guess, provide some of that good knowledge on what they can do every day. We're exposed to a lot of it. Where would you say that realtors are seeing their biggest struggles in their day-to-day? What are those that you're hearing?
Yeah, I think it really I coach a lot of new and stuck real estate agents. And the stuck agents, their challenge is that they're doing too many things and not enough of the right things. So their businesses are very cluttered. They're trying one thing one month and another thing another month. They lack a clear plan. They lack consistency. And that plan, and a lot of times, is not congruent to them. So they're doing things that they see other agents doing, and they're I always say, like, it's like waxing. Like, if your business is a car, they're waxing their cars when their transmissions are broken, and they're making their cars look great when their car isn't running right. And they're doing all of these things that they see top agents doing, but they're missing the point of what's actually driving the business. And they're doing what's fun. They're being media companies that happen to sell real estate. They're writing blog posts. They're doing some of the fun things, right? They're worried about their website. They're worried about their Facebook page. And that's all stuff that's important, but it's not important until you get some sales going. And so I have agents focus on the sphere of influence pillar and on the chase pillar, because that's what's going to drive their business. And the attraction pillar is the third pillar that we coach. That's being a media company that happens to sell real estate. I always say, don't let your attraction become a distraction. So you want to do that stuff, but you want to do it down the road.
So let's talk to that then for a second, because I could not agree with you more. How many times I get a phone call from somebody who says, yeah, I'm looking to do something. You're like, okay, cool. And they start talking to you about it. And all of a sudden they go, but I'm just waiting for my website to be ready. And as soon as that's ready, I'm going to start doing things. And it's like, so just magically when the website is ready, all of a sudden, business is going to flow in. I mean, if you've got that magic ingredient, I'd like to know about it, because that's not the way it happens.
Right.
But that's why I really like the, waxing your car when the transmission is broken type of thing.
Right.
So, I mean, if we're looking, and I love it, consistency, you know, their plan, that's the biggest thing they need to be really executing on. So what kind of plan do you help lay out? I mean, consistency, I think, speaks for itself. And I've said it many times, and I'll say it again today. You want to achieve anything in life, you need to be consistent about it. I don't care if you want to be the whatever, like anything, losing weight, quitting smoking, happy home, in business, you name it. Like, I don't care. You want to have your best Facebook, like, get out there every single day, but you want to play the flute, go practice every day. You want to learn a new language, practice every day.
Yes.
What do you need to be doing every day?
I think what it is what I look for is what distracts you from the consistency. And that I call the shiny object syndrome, right? And the shiny object syndrome prevents you from staying consistent. But there's ways to cure yourself of the shiny object syndrome. And how you do that is by having a clear plan that is congruent to you. See, so many agents are picking plans that don't fit them. They fit somebody else. They fit the coach that's coaching them. If you have any, like, if you're doing something in your business and you don't enjoy doing it, you may fall in love with it later, but most likely you're going to end up stop doing it because you don't enjoy doing it. It's like love, like, right? Like, you're not like, well, let's not go down that road, right? But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to like eventually fall in love with it, right? And so, like, what I want to work with agents on is building a clear plan that's congruent to them. That once it's congruent to them, then the consistency piece sets in.
Okay. So, I mean, this is where one of the things I talk about, you know, we talk about, and I brought up Facebook, and we understand we very much, both of us, understand the power of video, the power of voice marketing, the power of how that supports our brand. However, that could be the distraction right off of the top in somebody's business when they're going, hey, I want to get all my business from social media.
Yeah. Right? Look at it this way. The radio or the voice, the podcasting, the video, all of that's going to take 18 months. I'm doing the I Love Madison show here in Madison with excellence. We're reaching 15 to 25,000 views of video. We're crushing it. That's right. Amazing. Now, I look back at my business last year. I didn't sell one home because of I Love Madison. I met over 200 new people last year. And I think if you check back with me at the end of this next year, I'll probably have sold 5 homes. And next year, the following year, probably 10 or 15, right? It's going to take time. But 1 year of doing all of that, I spent $30,000 doing it, and I didn't sell one home. I'm negative 30,000 on this, all right? The average realtor, that would sink their ship. But most realtors would look at me and say, oh, the reason Neil's team sells, 100 homes a year is because of his I Love Madison. And it's like, no, that has nothing to do with it.
So what does it have to do with then? Where's it coming from ultimately then?
It's the chase pillar. So our chase pillar, I give agents 6 options, but 4 of them are the most popular. The chase pillar is open houses, Facebook advertising, online leads, FSBOs, and expireds. You pick one of those and you go all in. Our team goes all in on open houses, and we are excellent at open houses. We have a full system for open houses of how we get leads and convert leads, how we manage our open houses, and we just knock it out of the park with open houses. And then our other big portion of our business is our sphere of influence. So we mail a monthly newsletter. And I'm a huge believer in mail. And we have a sphere of influence 2.0, which takes our the basic is a monthly mailing, but then we add in client events. We do 3 to 4 client events a year. We do 4 meetups a year. We do drop-offs to our clients, gifts to our clients. And we are, we're really, really intentional on our sphere of influence. That's what's driving our business, not the shiny object of my media company that happens to sell real estate.
And okay, cool, right? So it really comes back to, one, we've got our COI, which is really where most of the business comes from. And I'm reiterating what you just said and kind of throwing in my thing, but agree or disagree. But it's coming from our COI. And then when we've got that chase pillar, depending on what it is, and in your case, it's open houses, what's happening now is we're meeting these people at the open house. These people are going into our list, COI, and now we're starting to nurture and get through that list. Much the same when we're doing our podcast or our video or whatever, and you've had all these people viewing, no sales yet, but I got to imagine there's some sort of process there that says, hey, we can capture that information, move these people into, again, our COI, our list, and start to work that list on a regular basis. Would that be correct?
Yeah, yeah. And we love the open houses so much that we get face to faces with clients. We get to learn what they're looking for, so we aggressively start looking for properties for them. A lot, because we do open houses, it helps our sellers sell their home. We give our sellers amazing exposure, so it more people want to list with us because of our plan. And it really, that's what's driving our business, and so some agents just, they'll say, well, open houses don't work in my market, or I don't want to work every weekend. I have some that just don't even want to put in the work, right? And so they think that blogging, and they think that being a media company that happens to sell real estate and attracting the business is going to drive their business. It will, but it's going to take a long time. And I'm telling you, your ship is going to sink before you get to that point.
Well, that's like any other prospecting, though. If we're going to go out there and we're going to put out, again, it could be open houses, door knocking, cold calling, flyering, ads, online, Facebook, you name it, media stuff. All that does take 12 to 36 months to see any type of return.
Yep.
And again, as I've got people that will ask me, hey, Dave, can you help me with flyers? I want to know, what kind of budget do you have in place? What kind of plan do you have in place? Are you going to go out there and door knock people? And if most people say, no, I'm not going to door knock, I hate being door knocked and I don't want to be a door knocker, I'm going to say, well, hey, if you're going to send a piece of paper to my home and expect me to just use you as my realtor, you got another thing coming here. It's not going to work. There's no relationship. And again, the open house or the door knock, you're physically meeting people in person. You're not hiding behind a computer.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep.
Right. And then the same thing when it comes to social media is, and I've said this to my clients that I'm coaching is, would you rather be out there literally talking with people, shaking hands, kissing babies, whatever you want to call it, but physically be there just schmoozing and being relational? Or do you want to be stuck behind a computer screen trying to come up with content every single day? And most people are like, oh, yeah, no, I want to be with people. I'm like, okay, keep that in mind then. Because if you want your online game to pick up, you better start to get used to and dedicate the time to sit behind that computer and put this content out there, right? And I think that that's one of the things where when you mentioned again before about distractions and not being consistent, they'll go out and try it, put out a Facebook post and go, but nobody liked it, nobody commented, I didn't see anything from it, I'm not doing it anymore.
Yep.
It's about consistency. You got to keep going with this stuff.
Right. Yeah. And I think too, like getting, we're a lonely society. We are the most connected we've ever been. Right. We are the most connected we've ever been. Okay. But we are the loneliest we've ever been. And what I'm focusing on around our team is the events that we're putting on that, we do the client events, but I want to take it beyond that. I want to do like anybody's invited, public events, big events. And I think that a lot of like what I have learned in the last year from doing our meetups, we do what we call the I Love Madison meetups. It's downtown Madison. There's no agenda. There's no fee. It's a cash bar. We have a sponsor that's a grocery store, Metcalf's Market. They're amazing for us. And they lay out this beautiful spread of nice finger food. And it's just no agenda. It's 3 hours long. Come and go as you please. We have over 100 people that show up each time. It's amazing. The relationships that have formed. It's like, it is really helping the people get connected, and it's helping us get connected too. And so there's not enough realtors doing things like that are bringing people together. The other thing we did last year is we did the I Love Madison house concert, where we brought people in to hear the amazing artists that I know. And it was an amazing concert. Now I'm taking that and I want to go big with it. And I want to do large community concerts that have a community focus to it. Even to the point where we pass a donation bucket around to support the artists, like just that community sense. Everybody bring their own wine and cheese, whatever they want, form on a yard, bring your own lawn chairs and listen to some amazing music. And so like, again, community, bringing people together, taking that offline presence or that online presence that we have and bringing people together offline.
And that's powerful because you've built your online presence. And now what you're doing is leveraging that and supporting that with the physical meetup. Because hey, it's great to be out there. It's great for people to know who we are. But if we never talk to those people, they may not know who we are. They may not actually know who we are. If you get what I'm saying, they see you, but they don't really know you. Or there's perception that, hey, you're just too freaking big for me, and you don't want to deal with me. I'll go deal with somebody else.
Right,
so that real physical connection. So here's a question we got. Somebody's watching us live right now. Actually, was asking, and I'm going to double end this one or whatever, double edge this one. But you mentioned about the open houses, and she was asking, how do you convert at your open houses? And so just before you answer that, I'm going to ask the same question around the meetups, because I talk a lot about become that community expert. Start to really build your presence in your community, focus on your niche market, and start to just take over and win. Once you're winning, it comes back to being looking at the Joneses. You now become the Joneses, and everybody's looking at you for how did you do that? So knowing that our sphere is really our gold mine, how are you taking people from your open house, converting them into that? And then much the same with, let's say, all these events, which I think is absolutely stellar that you're doing. How are you getting people there, and how are you converting those people as well?
Yeah, so the open houses, we have an exact technique that we use. We have a survey that we use that we put on a clipboard. When they walk in the door, we hand them this mini clipboard. Well, let me back up before that. We make sure that our open houses I have an agent on my team. Her name is Ashley. She's amazing, and we call it Ashla flying the open house, because it's like there's like you walk in, like if you were to walk into heaven's doors, that's kind of what it's like. I mean, it's like music is perfect, the smell is perfect, she just nails it every time. It's amazing. It's
the experience, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and she's so inviting, and so I wish I could take what I have seen and somehow present it to you all to show you how amazing it is. All right, so you walk in the open house. You are handed a clipboard. You're then asked to make yourself at home. Take a tour of the home. I'm going to be standing right here in the kitchen or in the dining room or in the living room, wherever is the kind of that center point of the home. And you give them that clipboard and you ask them to fill that out as they're walking through the home. Then when they come back, you ask them. The first question you ask them is do you have any questions? And that we ask that question to gauge their interest of the home. All right, our duty as an agent at an open house is to sell and represent that home, right? And so we ask them that if they have any questions about the home, and we have found that if they're interested in the home, they will start asking questions. If they're not interested in the home, they're going to start to find their way out the door, okay? And they hand you the clipboard back and they say, no, we don't have any questions. Once we get that no, we don't have any questions, and we get that clear sign that they're not interested in this home, they're starting to walk out. The next question we ask them to make sure we are definitely assured that they're not interested, and also to get what we call the magical piece that we need, is we ask them, the next question is what did you like most about the house, and what did you like least about the house? And when they answer that question, they begin to give us the gold that we're looking for.
Called digging for the need, right?
Yes. The gold is their search criteria. So they'll say something like, well, we love, we wish that the house had 4 bedrooms. It only has 3. And we really want a 3-car garage, and this only has a 2-car garage. But we love the backyard, and we love the lower level, right?
I love it, yeah.
Yep. So they're starting to tell you what they're looking for. And then you ask them a follow-up question. So if 4 bedrooms, you want the 4 bedrooms together? Would you if one of them was in the lower level? Do you like this ranch that we're standing in, or do you want a 2-story? I see that you've got kids. Where do kids go to school? Oh, is school important? Do you want to keep them in the same school? So now you're starting to narrow down their area, their whole criteria. Okay. So now you have their contact information because they filled out the form, and now you have their search criteria. So now you know what they're looking for, and then that's what we do. Is most agents, when they're at open houses, they look for this magical moment where they just have this amazing conversation with somebody. They immediately become best friends, they just fall in love with each other. That's what we're all looking for, and that's what we're defining as a lead. And that's not what we defined as a lead. What we define as a lead is somebody that we get their contact information and we get their search criteria. And then that's how, so we come out and I ask the agents that I coach, how many criteria did you get this last weekend from your open house? Not how did your open house go? I don't care that 38 people came. How many criteria did you get? And then those we then put into our matchmaker system that we have in our coaching program. And then we work to compel those people to work with us by matching them up with houses that they probably didn't know about. And we go to work for them before we even have permission to go to work for them. We just go to work for them. And sometimes we were able to show them a house because of what we called them on. But a lot of times they love our approach. They love our attitude. They love the way that we're communicating with them. We're not doing that lame call of, hey, I met you at the open house this weekend. Just wanted to follow up with you. We're actually calling them with something that they want. And because of that, they're compelled to work with us. And that's what we're in the business of doing, is compelling people to work with us. Then once they start working with us, then we start inviting them to all of our events. And then they start to follow us on our Facebook page. They see all of our videos, and they fit into everything. Come to our meetup, come to our concert, come hang out with us. We're cool people. And then they,
But hey, that's what you call building mind share, right? You're getting out there and you're essentially connecting with the people on one specific level. And then we're starting to take those people, dig for that need, which I thought that was gold, what you just brought up there about how we actually vet these people. We kind of screen it and go, hey, you in? No. Oh, well, why not? And we start learning about it with some open-ended questions that get them talking a little bit more. Now we're taking in all the information we can, and now you've got exactly what you need to basically circle back with, let's say, me, and go, hey, Dave, great to meet you the other day. By the way, however you guys go about doing that. I think that was great stuff. Totally answered the question around how do you convert at open houses. And then in terms of how do we get people to the events, it's much the same. We've now taken them from a list. So again, it always goes back to the list. And I find a lot of agents are not focused on their contact list enough. Like anybody in business, you get up every morning and you go, hey, I want to get another deal today. And so you go out hunting for a deal. Yet we forget about what really puts these deals together. And it really comes back to, again, all the mind share you've built across each channel over a certain period of time that then gets people to that kind of right place, or when they're in the right place at the right time, they think of you rather than somebody else.
Yep. And a lot of agents hate cold calling, or hate following up, hate managing that list, because they haven't learned the one trick. And that one trick is that most of us are calling them just to follow up, just to touch base. And we hate making the call as much as the consumer hates receiving it. Yeah. So the one trick is to call them with something that they want. And what they want, if they're a buyer, is a home, right? Yep. Or maybe it's a first-time home buyer and they need financing. Maybe you learn of a new grant program, or maybe you learn of a new home search app, or maybe something that they want, right? Instead of calling and getting something from them, call and give them something as the reason for your call. When you're giving something, and you're a giver, right? And you're giving something, you're ready to call everybody. Like when I call my database to invite them to an event, I love making the call. Hey, John, just want to make sure you got my invite in the mail, or got my invite over email. Sometimes those things get lost, and just want to make sure you got it, and would love to see you and Becky and the kids there, right? It's a fun call to make. But when you're calling, hey, John, how you been, man? Just following up, checking in, it's what are you going to talk about, right? Right?
I said that the other day. I put that out there somewhere. I know it's like, when everybody's taught, hey, call up and let everybody know you just got into real estate. So, Hey, Neil, it's Dave. I just got into real estate. Well, that's great, Dave. Thanks for letting me know. Actually, I put that up. It was like, that's what I said. I put it up on my Insta, and it was like, does your mechanic call you? And I just used a mechanic as a random example. Hey, Neil, I just became a mechanic.
Yes.
No, right? Have a reason to call with some additional, like some real value. Be relational. That's where this business comes from. Okay, would you agree with that the majority of their business is coming through their relationships, coming through their circle of influence?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, 80%. I mean, it's the big part of everybody's businesses.
Okay, so you talk about your three pillars: COI. We've got the chase, and we've got the action attraction pillar.
Yes.
So the COI is obviously work your list, and I teach on the 7 ways to communicate: in person, by phone, text message. Then you got direct mail, which you and I are both very, very big believers in. We've got email, we've got social media, and we've got web. And we've kind of hit on all 7 in different ways today, sort of like randomly here. But I look at that as that's how I'm going to keep in touch with my COI. I am going to leverage every single channel I can in order to build that mind share. I'm going to do a very similar thing when it comes to my chase, where I'm out there and I'm trying to get you to know who I am. It might be a different way I use social or a different way I use paper or email, vice versa, the messaging. When you talk about attraction, I mean, I'll ask it, but kind of say, tell me more. Is this the media stuff, the podcasting, the voice, the video? Is that what that is? Is it the branding we put out? Tell us a little more about that part.
I'll tell you about my attraction pillar, which the attraction pillar is full of art. So whatever you want to be an artist. So whatever that looks like for you, if you're a great writer, you should be writing. If you're great on camera, you should be on camera. If you have a face for radio like I do, you should be doing podcasting, right? And so whatever is your jam, that's what you focus on. I love, and I follow Seth Godin. He always talks about everybody is an artist, that we all have art inside of us. When you ask a room full of kids if everybody's an artist, everybody raises their hand. Every kid raises their hand. And then if you ask a room full of grown-ups if everybody's an artist, there'll be maybe one person that will raise their hand. And the truth is that we're all born artists, that we just let it go. All right. And so the first lesson in the attraction pillar is believing that you're an artist and finding your art. All right. And it's a lot of fun once you find your art, and it can actually become very addicting once you find your art, because I love being an artist. I love producing content. Let it be video, let it be voice, let it be writing, whatever it is. I love doing it. Okay. So the other part in the attraction pillar that's important is to make sure that you're vulnerable. Make sure that, we always hear this, that, you need to be authentic and you need to be transparent and all of that. Vulnerability is the thing that will help grow a tribe faster than you can ever imagine. And so, but a lot of us are afraid of vulnerability. A lot of us are ever afraid that we are wrong or anything like that. So I encourage people to be themselves. The world is waiting for you. And so be yourself. And go out there. And a lot of us don't start attraction pillars because we're afraid of failing. Again, I got that from Seth Godin. A lot of us don't start this kind of stuff because we're afraid of failing, or we're afraid of being wrong, right? So be okay with being wrong. Be okay with speaking your mind. And then what happens is you create these followers that are connected to you. Right? They enjoy your content. They enjoy listening to you. They watch every video that you produce. And then it's understanding what is congruent to you, what fits right. And we talk about this in the attraction pillar. Like there's 3 different types of content. There's searchable content, which is great for YouTube, great for blogging. There's social content, which is great for Facebook Lives, Instagram, and that's all about getting engagement. And then there's inspirational content, which I think is amazing for LinkedIn right now. Okay. So finding your jam, finding what you want to, like, inspirational content is like you learn something and you want to teach it, right? And we know that when you learn something and then go to teach it, you learn it on a whole nother level. Right? Like you'd start to begin to digest what you learn and put to action what you learn when you go to teach it. So that's what like inspirational content is. And then again, like there's just some broad rules with all this. No define like you got to do this, you got to do that, and because it's art. Right? It's not paint by number art. It's being an artist, creating your art and giving it to the world. And then what happens is when you do that, you attract people. But it takes time to attract people. Yeah. And so that's why we have our Agent Rise steps, which are the steps that we follow to build our businesses. And the attraction pillar is actually step number 8. Okay. So it's really, really deep in the Agent Rise steps. There's 10 steps. And it's number 8. So there's so much work to get done before we get there. But what the other thing too that the attraction pillar does is it eliminates your chase pillar when it starts to work. So the chase pillar is what burns people out, right? If you do open houses or FISBOs and Inspired or Facebook and some of that stuff just burns you out. Zillow leads will burn you out, right?
Yeah. You mean chasing strangers that come in through online is not like the way to go?
Right. I don't want to do this.
Sorry, anybody listening? Yeah, seriously, we're mocking it. We're laughing about it.
Yes.
We have been how long have we been in? 5-6 years now into that curve, maybe 7 years. Yes. But we've actually come over the top of that thing, and that thing's starting to do one of these now. Because the more people talk to, the more people are going, you know what, I got to work my contact list. Or you know what, I tried that and it's not working. Or I tried that and it's ridiculously expensive. And it's like, you know what I mean? Yes. Overblown media hype over the fact that strangers are just looking for strangers. Right. The world don't work like that. So when you talk about then that's step number 8, sort of on a quick nutshell on this one, I like to start off with the idea around budgeting. I think time management is massively important if you want to get it all done. We actually joked about that before we went live this morning here, around just kind of like how much there is to do. And depending on how you manage your time, everything's got to fit in somewhere as a line item. Right. To me, budgeting is also a massive deal because if you haven't got the dollars, it's nice to have the ideas. At some point, there is some money that needs to be involved. And if you go and totally over leverage, overspend, like you said before, you put out 30 G's and have you seen anything back yet? Monetary, no. Growth in the biz and attention and attraction and brand awareness, mind share, yes. Still needs to convert. Right. What's the deal? What's your sort of take in just sort of a brief moment here around time management and budgeting?
For budgeting wise, the majority of the agents that I coach are new and stuck agents. So I want to lower their expenses as much as possible. And that's why most of my agents do open houses. And they spend money in their sphere of influence pillar. They spend very little in their chase pillar. But if they have money, all right. So I coach some students that come to me and say, hey, I got 10 grand to invest. Where should I put it? I love having that conversation. Yeah. And I help them determine where to put that. It's usually into their chase pillar because their chase pillar is going to give them the fastest ROI. Right. And so the sphere of influence takes time. I usually see results on a consistent basis from a sphere of influence. And you'll get lucky. You'll get some right away in the beginning. The majority are going to wait to make sure you're going to make it. Because the fail rate of agents is 87%, don't make it past 5 years. Wow. So before they start referring you, they have to trust you. There's already a level of trust because they're in your sphere, but it takes time. So the actual huge ROI from your sphere of influence is 2 to 3 years down the road. Right. The chase pillar, I mean, you can go do an open house today and sell them a house tomorrow. You could run a Facebook ad today and go sell them tomorrow. You could sign up for online leads and go sell them a house tomorrow, right? That's the chase pillar. That's going to get things going for you. And so usually if there's money to be spent, we're going to spend it in the chase pillar so that we can get that immediate ROI. As far as time management goes, I'm tired of time blocking. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for it's a freak of nature that it works for because as realtors we're just it's hard to do. So what I'm a believer in is day blocking. So each day of the week, I have something that I have to do. On Mondays, I have a certain, I call all of my hot leads on Monday, and I use my stat or my lead tracker for all of my leads. And so on Mondays, I'm calling my hot leads. On Tuesdays, I'm doing my Tuesday update calls, calling all of my clients that are in pending or currently listed to give them an update on wherever the transaction's at. On Wednesday is my sphere of influence day, where I'm if I have a client event coming up, I'm working it on Wednesday. If I have a client event that I need to call all of the people in my database, I'm doing that on Wednesday, and so on and so on. So I have that every day of the week I have what I'm doing to day block. And then also for time management, I'm a huge believer in a scheduler link and having a link that you send people to have them get on your calendar. I'm telling you, you're going to set up more meetings than you'll ever imagine. No more of this, hey, Neil, you want to get together for coffee? Yeah, here's 3 days that work for me. And the email goes back and forth for 2 weeks before you finally get a time down. Now what I do is say, yes, I'd love to grab coffee with you. Here's my scheduler link. Grab a time that works for you, and I'll meet you there. So that's really important. And then the last thing I can say about time blocking or time management is to set boundaries around your time. I take Sundays off, and how I do this is I tell all of my clients, there's one more thing that I want to discuss with you, and that is that I take Sundays off for church and family. It's a very, very important day to me. I don't answer my phone. I'm away from emails. I want to make sure you're okay with that. And they'll say, yeah, that's great. And so most agents have fear that I'm pushing business away. But what I'm doing is I'm earning their respect. If they're not okay with it, they don't respect me. And I don't want to work with them. Yeah. And so most of us have problems in our transactions because we never have clients that respect us. And so if you set boundaries, you will earn the respect. And then what my clients do, because they respect me, they refer me. They also don't bother me on Saturday. They also don't bother me in the evening because they know I have a family and they respect me. Right? I have client after client after client that takes off of work to go look at houses with me.
Wow. That's you've earned that, right? You don't just get that out of nowhere.
Right.
Buddy.
Yep. And the problem is most agents wait till they get busy, wait till they're about to burn out before they do that. And that's the problem. Don't wait. Do it now, because that's what's going to get you busy. Is setting those boundaries. That's what's going to get you respect. That's what's going to get you referrals.
Set those expectations. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. You know what? Because to me, again, time management is massive. Budgeting is absolutely massive. Marketing, doing it the right way is massive. And I mean, this has been absolutely loaded. I mean, you went over the COI, we went over Chase, we went over attraction. Go figure how quickly we've gone over this. We're definitely going to be coming back for round 2 on the Mindshare podcast. If you would be so kind to join us, we'd love to have you back on this. Just before we sign off here, and I just want to tail back to, for everybody that follows Mindshare, AMH, Audience Marketing Hustle. Neil has gone through the AMH in a very similar fashion today, using pretty much the same pillars, the same foundation. It's just said a little differently. And that's, again, where and I sincerely say this to you, man, and not that I haven't said this already, but I really enjoy the conversations because there's such a like-minded thinking. And you're in Wisconsin. I'm in Toronto. There's a lot of similarities to it, which is really, really cool. So it's a neat way to be able to say things differently. So just before we sign off, quickly, where do people find you? Where can they find the Agent Rise podcast? Where they can get your contact information if they want to talk to you more?
Yeah, the show is called Agent Rise, and you can find it on any place that you listen to podcasts. And then if you search Agent Rise in Facebook, we have the Agent Rise page. We also have the Agent Rise group. You might also see something like formerly known as Onion Juice.
Right.
When I started this show, it was called the Onion Juice Podcast. It was all about doing things different. It was all about being a media company that happens to sell real estate, because I don't believe in that to build a business. I believe that it's part of your building, but I don't think it's the only thing. I changed the name to the Agent Rise Podcast because I'm all about rising agents up now. So,
love it, brother.
Yeah, that's how you find me.
And love it, man. I encourage everybody to check him out. Again, Neil, I really want to thank you for sharing your insights today, for taking the time to join us. Definitely a ton of value for everybody here.
Appreciate it, brother.
You're either listening to this on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or Spotify. Or maybe you went to industrysyndicate.com or even mindshare101.com. Wherever you like to consume your content, please rate, review, and subscribe. And if you haven't yet, connect with me on Facebook at Mindshare101 and on Instagram at DavidGreenspan101. This has been another episode of the Mindshare Podcast. Thanks, everyone, for listening.